Hi, my name is Amanda Day, and I'm presenting you with a book review in partial fulfillment of the requirements of Nursing 5343, Leadership in Complex Health Systems at University of Texas of Arlington. It's instructed by Candy Constantine Castillo. The work that I chose to review for this assignment was Not Bosses But Leaders, How to Lead the Way to Success by John Adair. This is the third edition of this work. John Adair is regarded as the world's leading authority on leadership and leadership development. He's authored over 30 books on the subject of leadership. He was educated at St. Paul's School in London. He recently received the Lifetime Achievement in Leadership Award. He was China's first honorary professor of leadership, and he now serves as the national and international advisor on leadership development. He has had several different opportunities for leadership in his career. He served as an adjutant in the Bedouin Regiment in the Arab Legion, a deckhand on an Arctic trawler, a brief stint as an orderly in an operating theater. He was the senior lecturer in military history and a leadership training advisor at Royal Military Academy in Sandhurst. He was the director of studies at St. George's House in Windsor Castle, and then later the associate director of the Industrial Society. He's been a professor in leadership studies at the University of Surrey, and he's helped in founding Europe's first Center for Leadership Studies at the University of Exeter. The purpose for this work, Not Bosses But Leaders, was to help those readers become better business leaders, or just in general becoming business leaders. The fundamental aspects of leadership were introduced in this work of John Adair's, and those include the qualities of leadership, leadership styles, leadership functions, differences between leadership and management, and strategic leadership. The target audience for this work would include managers, executives, entry-level leaders, aspiring leaders, and people just curious about leadership and what it means to be a leader. Some of the strengths of the book are listed here. It was a very easy read and a quick read. It's less than 200 pages. It took I completed the work in a road trip that was about 3.5 hours. It's written in the style of a conversation, so as the reader, you are overhearing a conversation between Adair and a young manager. It is based on actual conversations that Adair had with a manager transferring from a management role to an executive role. And each part of the book is summarized at the end of it with some key points that are bulleted. There's 9 parts in this book that guide from one to the other, so when you finish one part of the book, you are able to transition to the next part with no trouble. There weren't very many shortcomings that I found of the book, but some of them include it does focus much on being in that executive role. So if you aren't in an executive role, this may be a little too much for you, but that's okay. It still kind of gives you some aspects of leadership that you can use in the beginning of your career. There aren't very many references to how the concepts that they discuss in using it in a business organization could actually transfer into something like a healthcare organization. So you kind of have to pull that out for yourself if you are in the healthcare organization. And there are several military analogies. So if you aren't familiar with military terms or you don't like to hear about military terms, then this might not be for you. The objectives set out by John Adair, I believe, were to provide key points like a checklist about leadership, and he did that by breaking down each part into key points. He wanted to provide examples of possible pitfalls and mistakes that can be made. And he did that with anecdotes of mistakes that previous leaders in history had made when he was discussing those with the leader in the book. And then he wanted to introduce leadership strategies, which he did by suggesting to the young manager how he could conduct himself as a leader when he begins his new role as an executive. My recommendation would be to read this work. I give it a 4 out of 5 stars. If you are an entry-level executive or if you're going into a high executive role, this would be a perfect opportunity for you to learn some of those strategies and what the differences are in your previous roles and an executive role. If you'd like to purchase the work, the reference is here, and I hope you enjoyed reading. Thank you.